The Calgary Flames have many unanswered questions heading into the 2024-25 NHL season, with the team at a bit of a crossroads. Go full rebuild or try and win now with some veterans regaining their prime form. Which direction should the organization go, and can certain players like Jonathan Huberdeau be the player the organization needs them to be in order for us to contend? We're going to ask and try and answer all those questions in this video, but first, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and we're going to ask some serious questions. But one question that's pretty serious that you should be asking yourself is around this. Have you heard that the flavored air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement toward better habits, like the good habit of being a Flames fan, led by the sponsor of today's video, Fume. If you haven't heard of flavored air, I can tell you right now that it's not like vaping. If vapor was compared to sticky soda, fume cores are closer to herbal teas. With flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion, so you can use it anywhere. Fume is safe to use as they continuously invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products and are backed by doctors in the US. I know most Flames fans are stoked for the opening of Scotia Place in the near future, but another thing you can be stoked about is drawing flavor to your mouth without using nicotine. There's many delicious flavors including cinnamon, spearmint ice, and black licorice, and I recommend trying them all. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code DIGEST to get your free topper. It's the perfect accessory to your Fume device. Slip it onto the mouthpiece for a softer, warmer feel. It's chewable for those who love to fidget, and it's reusable. Head to tryfume.com, that's tryfum.com, and use code DIGEST or scan the QR code on screen to get your free Fume topper when you order your Journey Pack today. Seriously, you should try them out, just like how we're going to try and answer these questions in this video. We got a doozy here. So the first one, to tank or not to tank. And this, of course, is really the major question that's going on here. Some people say we're already in a full rebuild. Some people say we're heading towards one. Some people say we're just in a retooling renovation phase. It's a question that's going to be asked for a long time until it's pretty evident what's going on, because let's be honest, we are at a bit of a crossroads. But as always, we have a great article for this one here today, and it comes from Adam Proto of the Hockey News. All credit due to him for the content in this one. It is a really good article. Let's try and dive straight in with NHL's top issues facing the Calgary Flames. Tanking for the top pick, Huberdeau returning to glory, and Kadri a number one center. Adam Proto looks at the Calgary Flames' intentions of tanking, Kadri's status as an elite center, and Huberdeau's possible return to the top group of point producers, where we thought he would be, but clearly has come up quite short. But let's answer, or try and answer, the first one here and talk about, will the Flames tank for the number one pick? So the short answer to this is yes. Yes, they will tank. And honestly, what's best for the organization is they should, as long, of course, as Florida has a good season, which they surely will. Calgary's stripping down of its roster began in earnest this past season, with veterans Hanifin, Lindholm, and Zadorov all being sent packing for draft picks, younger NHL players, and prospects, not to mention Chris Tanev as well. And this coming year, the worst thing Flames GM Craig Conroy could do would be to try and eke out a wild card playoff berth in the Pacific Division. It looked like a while that we could. Remember when Markstrom was playing really, really well just a little bit before the trade deadline? And remember that Eastern Conference swing we went on where the Flames looked amazing? They beat Boston, they beat the Rangers. They're playing really well. It looked like we could make a push for the playoffs, and then of course traded everyone away. But either way, cleaning out albatross contracts isn't going to be easy, especially when it comes to star winger Huberdeau. More on him later in the video. But the alternative isn't justifiable either. What this Calgary team needs more than anything is generational, foundational talent, which we thought we might have had in Jonathan Huberdeau. It hasn't quite panned out. You can kind of say we had that in Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk, just not quite to the level we needed them to be. Jerome McGinley is probably the closest thing we've had to that in my personal lifetime. Even then, he wasn't like a Sidney Crosby type, Connor McDavid type. That is really what we need and are looking for, which of course is easier said than done. They're not going to get that via the trade or free agent markets. The only way you land pieces like this or like that is through the top end of the NHL draft. Of course, just look at last year with Connor Bedard, this year potentially with Celebrini. Maybe next year with Gavin McKenna, we'll see. And the only way you get picks at the top end of the draft is by taking the hits and coping with the fallout for at least a few long years. Conroy is fully aware of this fact, and Flames ownership will support his plan for long-term growth. We just need the fans to also support it and still continue to attend games. I'd hope that ticket prices are maybe a little bit lower this year since the Flames aren't supposed to be all that good, and I'd love to go to, all 41 home games, but we'll of course see. It's going to be painful, and it could get mighty ugly, but it's the road most proven to make a difference in the long haul. Think of obviously the Pittsburgh team that's won a few cups with Crosby, Malkin, Fleury, Letang. Think of the Chicago team that won a few cups with Kane and Taves. It is a proven method. All Flames fans have to do is look at the Sharks and Blackhawks to see how you tank properly. They are doing it well, and they've got some good players because of it. It's doable for Calgary, but there has to be a definite move to that end, and that process will be ramped up this year for better and for worse. So, to answer the question to tank or not to tank, the Flames should tank. And tank might be the wrong word because that shows intentional losing, but just really they shouldn't be going for this kind of maybe a wild card berth scenario, or even, I know we got a great player in Zane Parekh at the 9th pick. We're not always going to be that lucky to draft such a good player that low in the draft, you can say. We need to be higher up in the draft, top 5, top 3, top 1. I think it would be great if the Flames could get one of those picks and really continue. So to answer the question, to tank or not to tank, the Flames should. Tank might be a harsh word, but that is just the reality of the sport and sports in general. Now, the next kind of question here is vets playing up to expectations. And I know it was talked about a little bit before at the beginning of the article, but again, the first player, of course, is Nazem Kadri. So can Kadri be a true number one center? Don't get us wrong, we like what Kadri brings to the table. I agree. He's a ferocious competitor and a top 6 fixture on any team. But calling him a number one center would be taking it too far. He's not a generational talent, and he's not someone who's going to lead the league in point production. He can give you a snot, he can give you fearlessness, and he can play in the hard areas of the ice, but he's no superstar. So he could be a number one center on a bad team, which the Flames might be, but he's really not just a true number one center. I think that just kind of answers that one, but we'll continue. For that reason, trading Kadri isn't going to bring back a massive return of picks and prospects, but clearing out his $7 million per season contract that runs for 5 more years will send a message that this team is truly in transition. Yes, we've talked about Kadri trade rumors. If they were to trade him, it would prove the rebuild is on. He can be an above-average second-line center on a Stanley Cup playoff frontrunner, but his current fit in Calgary just isn't working anymore. I don't know if I fully agree with that part. It's not working as though the team, is going to win the Cup this year, but it's not working in the way that not both parties are benefiting in some way. He's got a full no movement clause in the next 2 seasons, but we're assuming he'd welcome a trade to the right market. And of course, we've seen him be very successful. He won the Cup with Colorado. He wasn't the number one center there, and I think he is fine with that role. So if that were to be the case, I think both parties would benefit from that mutually, and we'll just have to wait and see. Is he a number one center? No. Will he ever be? Not in the true sense. He could be the center on our top line, but is he just one of those true number one centers? No, and that won't be our plans for the future. Now, the last question, of course, is will Jonathan Huberdeau return to glory? And that's almost a laughable question after the past 2 seasons, but there's still optimism and hope that it could happen. So after Huberdeau's offensive totals fell through the floor last season, from 85 assists and 115 points in 2021-22 to just 12 goals and 52 points in 2023-24. It's tough seeing how he gets back to his peak performance, especially on a Flames squad that is going to have a tough time producing loads of offense this coming season. Huberdeau's massive contract of $10.5 million per season through the 31 campaign makes him essentially untradeable, and a buyout is similarly preposterous. Unless something miraculous takes place, he's stuck in Calgary for the foreseeable future, and even if he does perform to a level that makes him the Flames' most dangerous player, he's unlikely to get back to a point where he's among the league leaders in offense. Gotta completely agree there. I don't think Huberdeau will ever replicate what he did in Florida. Can he get back to maybe a point per game? Yes, maybe towards the end of the contract, he'll have a lot of help and he'll be able to dish the puck to just absolute pure goal scorers. And we'll have to see. Maybe he can get, an 80 assist season. But the way he's playing the past 2 years, it's just not clicking. The heart and soul maybe isn't there as much. I know he's trying. I really like Huberdeau, but he's just not what he needs to be, and I don't know if he can get back to that point for us. It is a sticky situation, and it kind of sucks, but it is a serious question that we will obviously continue to monitor as Flames fans. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. And this one, it's a good one. It's about yesterday's video involving more trade rumors, and it comes from Ice Pack, we'll just call him. Keep Kadri, move some picks, or even some young blood. Kadri is crucial to developing the kids line with Backs and Coleman leading the other lines. Give this man an A under Backs. It's true. His leadership is very important, and anyone who played with him last year became better. You look at the development of Zary, of Pospisil, they were both so much better with Kadri. A bit of a hot take here to say, maybe move out a younger guy and keep Kadri. It's just a different opinion that I wanted to explore, and that was a very nice comment there. Thank you so much for providing us with that. Thank you for watching this video. Please make sure you try out Fume and have a wonderful rest of your day.